This is SportsCenter.
The SECFT March Madness has begun, and today we got things underway as Purdue was in a nail-biter against the 16th seed, and we might have a new title contender, and Miami and Georgia in an absolute shootout with plenty of points. And to cap things off, we had a nightcap and a very close one between the Hokies and Marshall.
Got it, and Fordham takes the lead. Minion puts Fordham on top. Wow! You made a free throw!
Welcome to SportsCenter. It is Chris. What a day of basketball. And we got things started with the number 1 seed, Purdue, going up against number 16, Fordham. And man, oh man, it was a close one early. Purdue and Fordham trading shots. And Fordham would actually take the lead right here early in the game. But Purdue would not let that slide. Every time Fordham would take the lead, Purdue would fight back with a 3 of their own, and Fordham would make it a 1-point game here, but eventually this 3 would be the dagger, and Purdue would run away 23-16. We are now joined by SEC, who is on the call of today's game. SEC, what was your biggest takeaway today?
What surprised me the most was just how rusty Purdue looked. I mean, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, who, after watching their game today, would be terrified senseless of playing Purdue? Who would be terrified? Their defense showed up late, but outside of that, Purdue looks like they are very flawed. They are definitely beatable. Miami, after what we saw from the Hurricanes, they got to be licking their chops seeing Purdue's defense. I mean, the flaws and the vulnerability of Purdue, they better fix that quick or they could be looking at a second-round exit.
We'll check in with SEC throughout the show, but man, oh man, Minion getting a lot of attention after today's performance. Could we see him possibly enter the transfer portal? So Purdue going to play the winner of this one, Miami and Georgia. And like I said, it was a shootout, but Miami towards the end of the game would start to take over. Melvin making big plays with a 3-pointer right here. And it's a 7-point game. Georgia looking like it's most likely over, but they hit a 3 with a little bit of time to go, but Miami would just keep pulling away, and eventually they would run the clock and win 20-16. After Duke had a pretty rough season, the expectations weren't too high for their matchup against Louisiana Tech today. Many had Duke losing, but tonight they put on a show. They totaled for 7 threes. Here's what SEC had to say.
Duke is by far the best team we saw all day. It was pure and utter dominance by the Blue Devils. It wasn't Purdue. It wasn't Virginia Tech. It wasn't Georgia or Miami. Duke, of all the teams, who's going to make the Final Four if you ask me? It would be Duke. Duke would beat every single team we saw play today and probably would beat the entire region. Keep your eye out on the Blue Devils because they look legit.
Before we wrap things up, here's a look at tomorrow's games. Rutgers and St. Peter's, Alabama, Illinois, Florida ECU, and Ohio State and Coastal Carolina. It's time to wrap things up with our moment of the night, Virginia Tech and Marshall.
Whoa, this is just insane.
It was an unbelievable pre-game atmosphere, one of the greatest atmospheres I've ever been a part of. Here's some highlights of the game.
Good defensive start for Marshall. Marshall to the dunk line, and the Herd will get us started with a slam. Offense, he's going to pass it to Hiro Masa. Masa in the 3-point line, over the hand. What a basketball. Another chance for a 3-point throw. Mario, he gets in. Here we go. Actually, no, that's a deep 2, but still an incredible shot from long range by Tech. Here goes Mario to the dunk line. Pass it back to Herdman, and Herdman with the 3 ties it up. Here Masa for another deep 2, and he drills that in for a free throw. And he puts it in. There we go. Nice path. And Virginia Tech continues to put the hurt on with a slam. Dunk by Marshall puts him a little closer. It's now in. Boom! It's a 3 from downtown. Alley-oop to the dunk line. And Marshall takes the lead. Oh my goodness. Break the ankles and slam it down on the toe for them. And he puts them back on top. Well, they just run on the clock for 3. Boom. It's a 4-point game, and the Hokies extend the lead. Wire, unfortunately, for the Herd, they could not overcome turnovers, nor Virginia Tech's defense. And Virginia Tech pulls away barely to win the game. And
that'll do it for this special edition of SportsCenter. What a day.
Minion puts Fordham on top.
Anything can happen in these tournaments.
You made a free throw.